My name is Outsider2522 and welcome to another Idleon video. Today we're going to be looking at the sample king of classes. Now, it's a bit strange as to why he's the sample king, but we'll get into that in a minute. Let's discuss it. Okay, so we're going to be looking at what was probably mentioned as the worst class in one of my previous videos. A lot of people didn't like the beginner class. Now, I understand why. The beginner class is very, very limited with what it can do. The journeyman class was good for a while in terms of getting rare drops. However, now the elemental sorceress is so much better than it. So both of those two classes have kind of dropped off a map. When we get to the maestro, things get a bit more interesting, and the reason is because the maestro is very good for sampling. However, not really for sampling itself, but for passively buffing everyone else's sampling. Now, what do I mean by that? The maestro has a skill called the right hand of action, and what this does is it increases the efficiency of everyone's skills that are a lower level than the maestro. This only affects the first 6 skills, I believe. It might be a couple more, but it doesn't affect later skills, so remember that. The caveat being that your maestro has to be a higher skill level. Now, this can be kind of annoying to do when you early stages, especially for things like worship. I really struggle to keep my maestro above my worship level of my elemental sorcerer. But with the inclusion of the Voidwalker class, the left hand of learning, which can increase the XP gain, has been given a buff. There's a skill that you can use with the Voidwalker which unlocks secondary effects for other skills, and if you raise it high enough, left hand of learning will actually give more XP to your Voidwalker if he is the highest skill level. So what you end up having is it actually becomes a lot easier to maintain the highest skill level on your Voidwalker. Fantastic update, fantastic buff to the character, and means that there's really little excuse as to why you wouldn't be running right hand of action every time you resample, purely for that extra efficiency. In essence, keep your maestro at a higher level than the others in skills, and you're just going to get a huge efficiency buff. For me, it's 96%. That's a lot of efficiency. Okay, so the Voidwalker helps, well, the maestro, sorry, helps to increase other people's sampling rates for skills. So why would I say that the Voidwalker is the best sampler in the game? Okay, there's a particular case when the Voidwalker will absolutely decimate almost every other class. That's when you're trying to get mob drops. Okay, standard mob drops, the Voidwalker is top tier. The reason is because when you do a Void Trial run, which you need to put points into the Void Trial rerun skill, each point you put into that unlocks more time in the Void run. You can do 1 Void run per day. In the Void run, you're going to clear maps, basically. You need to clear a certain number of enemies to unlock the portal to the next map. Move forward. Okay, the more portals you clear, the more points you get to spend on your Voidwalker's talent tree. Okay, so we're now in Void Trial, which is something slightly different. How on earth could that help with your sampling? Now, this isn't a new trick. This was something that was taught to me by many members of the Aetherian Guild. A really, really good guild. Highly recommend them. Part of them myself. They're great for sharing advice and information. They've got a lot of endgame players. So what they showed me was actually what you can do is you can rush through the stages until you reach a boss. And if you kill the boss on Nightmare difficulty, and you have a skill called Bossing Vein, it makes the mobs respawn quicker on every map. Now, this skill actually works in a bit of a strange way, because each boss difficulty counts as a boss killed. So if you were to kill, say, Amarok on normal, you would get 1 boss kill. For my example, I get 38% mob respawn speed. So that'd be 38%. If I kill him on Chaotic, there's now 2 boss kills, so now 76% respawn speed. If I kill him on Nightmare, we now killed 3 bosses, we're now at 100% plus respawn speed. Now you're starting to see that with the quicker respawn speeds, you can now kill more mobs per hour. This is great. If you can get through more worlds you can increase even further. So at the minute I'm at a stage where I can clear up to E-Font. I kill E-Font on Nightmare. I've now got 200% quicker mob respawn speed. That's a huge buff to the number of kills. There's also a nice little skill called Master of the System. What this does is it increases your multi-kill per tier based on the number of maps you've cleared. So for every 5 maps, you get one extra time of this. So for me, I get 8.89% multi-kill per tier. Now, because my biggest clear is 39 times, so I get the equivalent of a 7 times buff on it. I'm now running at nearly 50% multi-kill extra. I think actually it's 60%. 60% extra multi-kill. So now, not only are the mobs spawning faster, but I'm getting a higher multi-kill rating. Very good. We move on to the final skill that makes Void Walker ridiculous. It has a skill called Void Radius. What this does is, if you use it, and this gives Void Walker the ability to do AoE on a massive scale, so mine's 670 pixels, you get a multi-kill bonus per tier for 20 seconds. Mine runs at 1450% multi-kill bonus. What this means is, if I launch this attack after killing the bosses and getting that quicker refresh time, and then I go back to the world where I need to sample, and I drop Void Radius, and then I sample, my sample rate is millions higher than if I was to sample on any other class. That is why Maestro and Void Walker are the sampling kings. If you like this video, you find the information useful in any way, shape or form, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Let's get this channel growing. Until next time, you've been amazing.